me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
And we want to highlight how they run their parks in a financially sustainable way. That way, when this leadership steps down, they're handing a very healthy park system with a strong financial future to the people taking their place, not a disaster that is going to go bankrupt. We're going to have to cut staff. We're going to have to cut programming. We're going to have to cut essential services because we just are broke and don't have the money. Welcome to the Daily Parks and Recreation Show. Today, we're bringing you the future of facility maintenance, from smart cities and IoT technology to robotic lawnmowers that take the grunt work out of park care. We'll dive into how these innovations are saving time, money, and resources, all while making our parks more sustainable. Get ready to learn how smart technology is changing the game in park management and keeping our communities thriving. Let's jump in. All right, we are live again for our first ever facilities maintenance Daily Parks and Rec Show. As promised, I told you I would go live on Monday. We've got a lot of cool stuff happening on this new show. Got a lot of stuff to show y'all. We actually have a logo that I approved, first version, just making a few tweaks on it, just for facilities maintenance. We also have a great group of guys in the background on LinkedIn. We created a group, and shout out to Ryan Brewer. If you're listening, he kind of helped categorize what we want the show to be about. So I'm going to list those off. As y'all know, with me, I'm bringing y'all into the kitchen to show y'all how we cook, and we're just going to create this show live. So we wanted to do, so the concept was we want to show for facilities maintenance, or all the maintenance side of Parks and Recreation. Heck, I haven't even introduced the show. This is Craig LeBlanc, the doorman with the Daily Parks and Rec Show, normally airing with a leadership series now at 12 noon. This is our facilities maintenance show at 10:45 Eastern. So we're going to do this 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. Today's our first show. Okay, there's your intro. So what are we going to have this show be about? This is what we're thinking so far, straight off of Ryan Brewer's, out of his brain. We gave like 10 topics out there. And so we want to focus on field maintenance, facility maintenance, equipment maintenance, and sustainability management. Love that. So all credit goes to Ryan for that one. But today I have a specific topic. So we're going to be bringing people in and around. Now we will have some special series. I want to do one just around urban forestry, which is kind of a smaller subset, and how you manage forests or trees, how often you visit these trees. And we've got a couple of specialists that I've spoken to. They've been guests on the show, and they're going to come do just a show only on urban forestry, and then also like fire prevention and fire management to make sure that these trees don't contribute to wildfires that may start. So we'll have other topics like that. Now, here's one topic that it always has interested me, and this is smart cities. So what do I mean by smart cities? So today we have cell phones, we have the internet, we have connectivity. We are connected now to our cell phones, and this cell phone is connected to the overall internet and to each other through text message, through video conference call, and through these apps. And so as this was born, just in the last decade or so, couple of decades, we have what's called this mobile revolution, this connectivity revolution. And you may have heard of a term called IoT. And so I've been knowing about IoT probably since the first day that the term was coined. What it stands for is Internet of Things. And most of you, if you've been to like a Best Buy, you'll see something that's like a Google Smart Home, Amazon Smart Home, and like Apple Smart Home. And there's like displays with light bulbs and switches and thermostats. And so essentially you can make your home a smart home. Now, what does that mean? That means most of the stuff that you get on the shelf in that area can be connected to the internet. And in a smart way, you can have lights and thermostats come on when your phone uh, is close to the house or at a certain time. And so rather than coming into a home that's maybe hot because you don't want to air condition a home when you're at work, so you might put it at 75, but when you get home, you like it at 68. um, and then all the lights are off, so you got to go flip on lights as you go through the house. You can actually now say, "Hey, when my phone gets 5 miles away or 2 miles away, or when you see that I'm on my way home, I want you to turn on the lights. When I get there, open the garage. I want the air conditioner already on. I want music playing, whatever." You can just make your house, a smart home. And so we've seen a lot of this, and there's light bulbs that can be controlled all through your app, and you can time it. Okay, so smart cities are the same thing, except instead of it being a home, it's an entire city that's connected to the internet. Now, y'all might know my background is a master electrician many lifetimes ago. So as a young man, was connecting street lights, baseball field lights. I had a tool pouch on. I had bucket trucks, and then eventually I had a lot of men that did all this for me for heavy commercial and municipal clients. And now we didn't have smartphones back then. We had like the beeper and then the Nokia bricks, and they weren't really connected to the internet. They were really the app revolution had not even started when Steve Jobs invented the iPhone. But today, now there are these smart devices that are connected and are connectable. Now, the only smart device we really had was a photocell, and we would put these on street lights or our parking lot lights. And so it would just be a photo sensor that would detect when the sunlight would come up, and it was just a switch. So essentially, this sensor would say sun's up, and so turn the light off. Sun goes down, turn the light on. Pretty simple, but not a really connected smart switch. Not something that's connected to your phone, connected to your internet, connected to your computer, connected to some program that you could say, make sure the lights go off at 11 o'clock at night, except on weekends. We're going to extend it to 1, or maybe we're going to shut the park down at dark or whatever. So, but today, all of this is possible. And Internet of Things is now sweeping, and it has been sweeping through the home, and it's into stores like Best Buy. But now cities themselves are starting to become smart cities. Now, why is this important to you if you're a park and rec director, or if you're in maintenance or a superintendent? Because so much of your efforts in your maintenance departments, now maintenance is probably the biggest line item on all Parks and Rec. I need to get to with my Financial Friday people. I've got plenty of people that know the numbers and the books and spreadsheets of park systems, but I would wager that if it's not the largest, it's one of the very largest that you spend on payroll and equipment maintenance, and just overall everything associated with maintaining facilities. So this is all like your grass cutting, this is all your that light poles not working for some reason, so we need to send an electrician out there. This toilet's overflowing. We have some sewer issues. This building needs painting. So what are we? How much are we spending in the labor force, the equipment that we have to maintain, all this army of trucks and tools that are necessary to maintain this real estate portfolio for the city. These park systems, these community centers, they're constantly breaking, and that's just the nature of it. You're never going to really stop it from breaking. But sometimes we're sending people out there to maybe every twice a year to adjust the timer. So timers, for those who don't know, are hooked to a lighting system, and it basically says you can set these little mechanical dials, or that now they make them digital, and you can make it to where the lights on a tennis court will come on at dark and then go off at like 11. And so at 11 at night, you can't turn the tennis court lights on. And so that way you don't have people playing tennis maybe in a neighborhood till 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you get a lot of calls from the neighbors, kind of stuff like that. So typically that's timers. But now you can have these sensors, and one of the great companies also is one of our sponsors, Outdoor Link. You can have it connected to the internet, to your cell phone, and you can actually give access to coaches. And so this is all part of the smart city. And what does this do for you? Well, how many times have you had to send somebody out to adjust a timer? Once or twice a year. How many times have you had to send somebody out because baseball lights or tennis court lights were left on and the neighbors call complaining on a weekend? And not to mention, you have to pay the electric bill when they're left on all night or for many days till somebody calls, till somebody notices the lights were left on. And so this is not just, so what are the costs and the implications of that? Well, this is wear and tear on your lights. Lights have a lifespan. And so when they're left on for 8 hours, that's 8 hours taken away and the field wasn't used. It was just left on. Plus you're having to send a maintenance professional or yourself have to crawl out of bed on a Saturday night or a Sunday night and go turn those lights on. And how do you turn them off? There's a big disconnect or a breaker or some switch. But it's not connected to the internet. Well, today, with this smart technology, the smart cities, you can actually integrate all things with switches, all things with disconnects, all things with breakers that have to be on or off, typically done by a human, going to the location, unlocking a door, opening a panel, hitting a disconnect, turning it off and on. This is the way that most of these lightings of these park systems are turned off and on just by a physical mechanical switch, just like the one in your home where you just turn the light switch on, turn the light switch off. But today, you can now have a smart city, and this allows you to operate just much more efficiently so that you're not wasting these man hours and overtime hours and wear and tear on vehicles and spending electricity that you don't need to be spending because nobody's in the park, wearing down your light fixtures. You can actually now just install one time a device, and then forever you're able to just control this through an iPhone app, through on your laptop, on your desktop, and then you can have other people help you to manage this. This is programmable. What do I mean by programmable? It's not just a simple off and on function. It has much more functionality. In other words, you could say, this is what I want it to do on Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday. It's going to go, I want the lights to be able to come on at like 4 in the morning from 4 till sunrise. And then I want them, because some people show up super early to play tennis, right? So they'll play slightly in the dark. And then I want you to turn it off on Thursdays at 9 p.m. But on Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays, we want it to turn off at maybe 10 p.m. And then I want you to give access to this baseball field to this coach for this 5-week period or this 2-week period, or 2-month period. And then I want you to take access from him after that. And so there's all types of permissions, there's programmability. And once you can set it up, it's just like setting up a calendar. And then it's set. And if anything goes wrong, or you need to adjust anything, it's literally can all be done on your phone from your couch in your living room. You don't have to, okay, well, now from now on, we want to turn all the lights off, or daylight savings time is now happening. We've got 72 systems that have timers on them. So some maintenance guy is going to go have to adjust the timer times 72 twice a year. And so this is all just days of man hours that we're wasting. And so this is one thing I want to discuss with Smart City, and I want to do a few of these because this Smart City also incorporates robotics as it comes in. And so I have a couple of buddies that manufacture and sell the robotics field stripers, and so I'm going to get them to come show educate you on that. What is its capabilities? And then also now we've got robotic lawnmowers that are doing the same thing, cutting fields and stuff. These are all kind of the smart cities that we're doing, not just controls on lighting and stuff, but where we use automated robots that can now cut the grass of a football field, of a baseball field, of a soccer field, and stripe them. And so then that frees up those man hours to be able to do stuff that's just being neglected. And so a lot of times we have deferred maintenance costs because we're so busy doing the repetitive stuff that never goes away. So imagine the cutting of the grass and the striping of the field is just a constant workload that never goes away. If you can delete that, or make it super efficient to where a bulk of the heavy lifting of the cutting of the grass or the striping of the field, all this on and off lighting, uh, overtime over the weekends, you're not wasting a lot of this money and man and machine that you only have limited resources, right? You don't have unlimited maintenance men with unlimited hours, with unlimited payrolls. You've got finite resources, and we all know in park systems that, man, if I had some extra time, we would pressure wash this playground, or we would paint the columns in the parking lot, or we would do more if we just had a little more. Well, this is a way that you can reclaim through Internet of Things, through smart cities, and a lot of cities are already starting to do this. Now, this is somewhat of my background just because as I was getting out of the electrical world and manufacturing light fixtures and stuff, a lot of this stuff was starting to come out of just the invention stage, and now we have super high quality products that are tough enough to exist at the municipal level in all environments, in all types of climates, and all type of weathers and stuff like that. So it did take the industry some time to deploy this uh, in cities, and so now we've actually had some really good companies that have a lot of experience in doing this. They've iterated on top of their devices multiple times. So, for instance, SmartLink is on their seventh generation. So, what was wrong with generation number four, right? What was wrong with generation number two? So, when you go deploy 10,000 devices and then they break, and you go back to engineering and say, hey, they're all these version ones are breaking. Let's make a version four that fixes all this. And so imagine a company that's done that seven times, much like we have the iPhone today is much more advanced than the first few versions of the iPhone because it has all the fixes and the upgrades and the, well, could it do this and kind of stuff. Plus technology obviously gets much cheaper over time. And so now that we have companies that have iterated on their devices similar to Outdoor Link, same thing with the robotic lawnmowers. A lot of people, when they started with the robotic lawnmowers, they were kind of glitchy. They would kind of just go off into the ditch. They would get stuck. They would run over a t-shirt and hang it up in it. And so there's still some of that going on, but it's now getting to a place to where, holy cow, these things are pretty useful. Now, I've experienced this personally because I own a Tesla, and the early driving of it was sketchy. You'd always have to kind of take over at least once or twice on a trip, or it would run a red light or run a stop sign in the early days. But today, for instance, I went to Jasper, Alabama. Shout out to Peter and Stacy. Thank you all so much for buying some of our lights. Y'all are putting fuel in our tank to be able to create this show. Um, I did not intervene one time. I literally drove 7 hours there, 7 hours back on a Sunday, and gorgeous day, by the way. And if you haven't been to Jasper, Alabama, man, what a cute little, great little town. It is. It is a little hidden gem in kind of middle to north Alabama, about an hour and a half outside of Birmingham. One of our clients that supports the show and buys LED lights from us. Um, but I did not have to touch the steering wheel at all the entire time. And so this is where technology is bringing us to where not only do we have light switches that can be controlled and turned off and on from a cell phone, from a laptop, and that control can be given temporarily or permanently to your assistant director, your maintenance supervisor, someone that's just trained on it, and then temporarily given to coaches that just need access to one baseball field for 4 weeks out of the year, and then that permission can be taken back versus um, making keys, giving hundreds of keys over the years to who knows who. How many people have keys to that one lock that turns off and on that baseball field lights? That's really, those days are over, but it still takes time to upgrade. Same thing going on with the robotic lawn equipment. Same thing going on with the field striping equipment. And I think before long, we're going to see robots holding weed eaters that are coming out of Austin, just because I do follow that closely. So it's not going to be long before, I think in 5 to 10 years, we're going to have a lot more robotics. And that's going to free the humans up to be able, in maintenance, to do a lot of the more intricate things. Maybe we'll be able to get more done with less. And that's what we're starting to see here. And so all of this is starting to roll out. All of this is starting to make its way into the market. But I think there is an educational piece, because if you're not careful, you could continue to do it the same way, wasting resources, wasting electricity, wasting manpower, paying overtime, and just giving a lesser service to the community. Because typically, when lights are left on, you find out about it because the neighbor called you in the middle of the night and say, "Hey, it's this bright light is shining right into my um, bedroom, and I'm a neighbor to your park. Can you please do something about it?" And that's when you have to. So that's a bad experience for that neighbor. So now, number one, if that does happen and maybe you set it up wrong, you can fix it without getting out of bed. You can fix it from your cell phone, or you can just make sure that that's always done right. Because when you're trying to fix 72 fields, adjusting timers and stuff, sometimes it takes a couple of days to go through all that for your maintenance people. So, shout out to our sponsor, Outdoor Link. This is exactly what they do, and this is like their one trick pony. This is what they do. They have 80,000 units deployed on Lamar signs, and now have hundreds, and oh gosh, they're probably in the thousands of units out in parks and recreation, controlling field lights for many years now, and proud sponsors of this show. And I love their product. I've used their product even before. I even considered manufacturing their product, but they're doing a great job. I've actually talked to their engineers. I've looked at their stuff. Couple of things you want to look for. Some of the devices similar to this require you to have a Wi-Fi network, and then they operate on your Wi-Fi network. But as we all know, Wi-Fi on your personal network can get a little sketchy. You know, it's not sketchy. Your cell phone signal, that's typically much stronger, and it's independent. And so you can put a cell phone, essentially like a cell phone device that communicates very similar to how a cell phone is, in these devices. And that way it has much more uptime, and you're not dependent on the local Wi-Fi to be strong. And you're not trying to use this in the middle of a game when you've got everybody tapping on that Wi-Fi system. So they have an independent standalone cell signal, and it's a universal card. So it actually picks the strongest carrier, because we all know that sometimes if you got a Verizon phone, it works great. But over here, you have to have an AT&T phone, and it works great over here. So you want a card that can just pick the strongest network and just use the one that has the strongest signal, because a lot of these baseball fields, especially in neighborhood parks and in county parks, they're in the middle of nowhere. It's literally like one baseball field, one playground, one parking lot, and it's just like a little community park where they practice for Little League and stuff like that. And so you really have to have like a universal, and of course there is no Wi-Fi on these. So it comes with that already embedded in it, and when you purchase it, it comes with a year subscription to it. And then after that, it's just, you just pay an annual subscription to it, much like you would like a cell phone. So that's an important aspect of it. Now, shout out to our content creators and our digital artists. They made us a little video for facilities maintenance. And this is just our version 1. So obviously it's going to get better. We're going to start to incorporate a lot of the interviews and a lot of the technology that we're talking about, a lot of the maintenance professionals that come on about it. But this is our version 1. So let me go ahead and press play, and then we'll come chat a little bit more about maintaining facilities. Welcome to the Daily Parks and Rec Show, where we highlight the essential work that keeps our parks and facilities thriving. From local ball fields to multi-use athletic complexes, field maintenance ensures every space is safe, ready, and welcoming for play and community events. Facility maintenance is the backbone of operational excellence, ensuring that recreation centers, playgrounds, and shared spaces are functional, clean, and built to last. Behind the scenes, the Equipment maintenance keeps vital tools and machinery in peak condition. At the core of future forward thinking is sustainability management, integrating green practices that reduce environmental impact and enhance long-term resource stewardship. Facilities maintenance is more than routine upkeep. It's strategic, essential, and foundational to building healthy and resilient communities. This is the Daily Parks and Rec Show, honoring the professionals who keep our spaces running and our communities strong. All right, great job, guys, on producing that. Now, we did release our latest video that we did with Mark Flores, and he is over there in California in Linwood. He's got a $10 million playground. It's just amazing. So we highlighted the city, the playground, Mark as just a person and a leader in our community and his background. And now he's leading he's doing a great job over there in Linwood, California. So we interviewed him episode 90. When was that? Shoot, it had to be a couple of weeks ago now, but it finally made it out of editing because we're adding a lot more to each of these videos. So they're working really hard to really package these videos. So anyway, that was just released on YouTube over the weekend, and I sent it to Mark. So you're going to see us kind of promoting that. Then next on the chopping block, we have our video with Lydia. I know she's been waiting for that. Another great leader. That's episode 91. Matthew Alamane, episode 92. And actually, I mean, today's episode number 102. So we're trying to catch up, but we want to add a lot, as much as we can, to these and produce something that's really nice for them. So shout out to Mark for that, for coming on to the show, and he's also a real big supporter of us on LinkedIn, trying to get the word out. All right, so back to facilities maintenance. So what's the show going to be about? We would like to make this, number one, this is a regular show that's going to happen and I'm trying to pull up the different, hold on one second. Here we go. Okay, so we want to make sure that the show that we're talking, I mean, the topics that we are talking about is all about maintaining facilities. Now, a big chunk of this I know is going to come from the lawn maintenance. That is probably in facilities maintenance. That's the never-ending beast. That's the one that's just nonstop cutting grass. They're maintaining hundreds and hundreds of acres of fields, of open spaces, of common grounds, of mediums and stuff like that. Medians in roadways, flower beds. It never ends. Then on top of that, you've got maintaining the urban forestry, these trees, these sometimes 200- and 300-year-old magnificent trees that are kind of like citizens of your community. And then on top of that, maintaining all the playgrounds, the splash pads, the swimming pools, the community centers. And it's not just about cutting the grass. We've got to, pull all the trash, make sure the bathrooms are clean. Lights that are being broken, plumbing issues, irrigation issues. I mean, we could literally talk about irrigation, weed and feeds, chemicals that we would spray, chemicals that we use for fertilizers and stuff. The list goes on and on and on and on. And this is a topic that's just probably the most underserved topic in Parks and Rec as far as creating content for a show like this, for videos, for podcasts. But this is what this show is going to be about. So we're going to make 4 hours of content every week till the end of time, and we're going to bring in some of the best vendors. We're going to bring in some of the masters that have dedicated their life to maintaining facilities to attain a high degree of mastery around field maintenance, electricians, robotics. And so this is going to be where we do it all. Today's our first show on doing that. And again, shout out to Ryan Brew. I'll repeat what he said. I think we're going to kind of structure it in field maintenance, facility maintenance, equipment maintenance, and sustainability management. I love that kind of framework. And then we'll kind of pepper the week with stuff like smart city, stuff like urban forestry, stuff like that, where we're just kind of saying, because sometimes it's just like how to maintain a splash pad. probably don't want to show on that every week, but maybe a few times a year, we want to bring in a specialist about maintaining splash pads and all the chemical balances and all that kind of stuff. I mean, essentially, it's like maintaining a swimming pool. Then same thing with playgrounds. And so I think this is going to be a really exciting show. I'm excited to launch it today, and I'll probably start having guests, a few this week, and then eventually I'll have a guest speaker every single show, or well, most shows. Um, and then we'll have shows like this where we just give y'all updates, and we're able to release a little explainer video. And yes, we'll have a little logo up there. Sorry, finger points the opposite direction, so I got and so, yep, love launching this. Now, today we have our regular scheduled show, which is our 12 noon Eastern, coming up here in just another 45 minutes. And today we will be, hold on, I just saw this on my calendar. Kevin Adams. So Kevin Adams is coming on today, here shortly. So stay tuned in. That'll be our next episode. So now we'll be producing 2 episodes a day. I mean, we're going to get to episode 200 really fast. And then Friday, we have a good show, YPN, EPN. This is every Friday, we have something for the Young Professionals and Emerging Professionals Network. These are people that are either in college currently enrolled into a degree, and they know they're going into some version of Parks and Recreation. Shout out to Destiny, shout out to Chad and Molly and Gabby and all the people that are helping organize that on Fridays. So that show is going to be for y'all, 12 noon Eastern every Friday, 52 shows a year. It's all going to be about young professionals. And eventually this month, I'm going to try my best to launch it this month, and we're going to have a financial Friday where right before that, instead of doing the maintenance show on Fridays, we're going to do a financial show on Fridays where we're talking about financial sustainability, and we're talking about just the finances of Parks and Recreation, and making sure that we're not creating a terrible future scenario where your park system gets crippled by deferred maintenance or not really being an expert in cost recovery. We want to think about this and go find the greatest cities that are doing this very well. And there are some that have really focused on this and are doing it well. And we want to highlight how they run their parks in a financially sustainable way. That way, when this leadership steps down, they're handing a very healthy park system with a strong financial future to the people taking their place, not a disaster that is going to go bankrupt. We're going to have to cut staff. We're going to have to cut programming. We're going to have to cut essential services because we just are broke and don't have the money. And it's terrible to see some of our cities go through that. But unfortunately, this is just a reality that we all live in. Just like in the private world, companies go bankrupt. Also, we have personal people who lose their homes and go bankrupt, and cities and park systems are no different. Of the 10,000 cities, there are many that are going through bankruptcy right now, real time, and it's painful to watch. But at the same time, there are cities that are doing fantastic and are flourishing financially and are making sound financial decisions. And we want to highlight those cities and understand those best practices. And we've got some experts on this topic that are going to come help us to present that every Friday, 10:45 a.m. And that should be launching. Like I said, I'm going to try to do it by the end of this month, but I really want to get in this facilities maintenance show launched. So appreciate y'all stopping by today on the first one. Hang tight. In another half hour, 40 minutes, we will be doing our interview with Kevin. And yep, we'll see y'all here in just give me about another 40 minutes and we'll pop back on with our guests. So love you guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning in today. We'll see y'all here in a few minutes. Bye.
When you invest in our high-performance LED sports arena lights, you're not just upgrading your facilities, you're helping us illuminate the untold stories of parks and recreation communities. Every purchase directly supports the Daily Parks and Rec Show, a media platform on a mission to celebrate the heart and soul of our local parks and programs. From after-school activities to summer leagues, these spaces shape lives, and their stories deserve to be told. Why your support matters. Capturing community impact. Your contribution helps us assemble a talented team of digital artists, storytellers, and filmmakers to create compelling videos, articles, and short films that spotlight how Parks and Rec programs change lives. Sharing untold stories. From a child's first home run to lifelong friendships forged on the court, we'll document these priceless moments and share them with the world. Inspiring the next generation. By highlighting the joy, inclusivity, and opportunities found in our parks, we foster a deeper appreciation for these vital community spaces. Light up arenas, brighten futures. Your choice to install LED sports arena lights isn't just a smart investment in energy efficiency and performance, it's an investment in stories that deserve to be told. Be part of the story. Take action today. Purchase LED sports arena lights and help us shine a spotlight on the heartwarming stories that define our parks and communities. Contact us now to learn more about our products and how your support fuels the Daily Parks and Rec Show. Together, we'll shine a light on the moments that matter most.